AI is getting cheaper so quickly that the price tag is starting to look like the whole story. It isn't. A cheaper model can lower the cost of a useful workflow, but it can also make a runaway agent loop easier to ignore until the bill shows up. Today, we're looking at the model price war, why builders are splitting work between cheap and premium models, and the one metric that matters more than cost per token, the cost of a completed job. Here we go.
So if you wired your house so that turning on a little reading lamp somehow fired up the stadium floodlights down the street, you'd basically be bankrupt in a week.
Right. You'd blow your budget immediately.
Exactly. But for the last couple of years, that is exactly how we've been running artificial intelligence. Today, though, that economic model is just dead.
Yeah, the AI price war has completely hit a boiling point. As of this morning, August 15th, 2026, the cost of intelligence has actually collapsed 300 times over the last 3 years.
Which is just insane to think about. And the drops today alone are massive.
Oh, absolutely. Google just launched Gemini 3.7 Flash. DeepSeek put out their new V4 Pro, and OpenAI is previewing this ultra-fast tier that's supposedly 14 times faster than previous generations.
So our mission for this deep dive is to look at these updates and give you, the solo creators and small business builders out there, a real hype-free strategy for actually buying and using AI in this new reality.
Right, because the whole landscape is totally different now.
But I do have to push back a bit right out of the gate. When DeepSeek released those early models, they triggered a massive NVIDIA stock drop because they undercut competitors by 98%?
Yeah, it's around 98%.
How do you cut costs by 98% without the quality just falling off a cliff?
Yeah.
Because usually, you get what you pay for.
You do. Unless you completely change the underlying architecture. So this is where a structure called mixture of experts comes in.
Right, I've heard of that.
Imagine you have a complex math problem. Older models, like the early GPT-4s, would assemble this stadium of 1.8 trillion people, including poets, historians, chefs, just to look at that one math problem.
Because they're basically activating every single parameter they have for every single prompt, which sounds exhausting.
It's wildly inefficient, but a mixture of experts model acts more like a smart switchboard.
Okay, how so?
Looks at your prompt, recognizes, hey, this is a math problem, and routes it only to the 37 billion math tutors in the building.
Oh, wow. So you leave the chefs and poets out of it entirely.
Exactly. You are reducing the active compute by roughly 98%. That slashes the energy cost, and that savings gets passed directly to you.
That completely explains how Google can price their new Gemini 3.7 Flash at, a deeply discounted 75 cents per million input tokens.
Right, while DeepSeek V4 operates around just 3 cents.
3 cents. The floor hasn't just fallen out. It's a completely different universe for buyers.
It really is.
Yeah.
And because of that massive drop in active compute, we're seeing a huge behavioral shift in the market. Today's Ramp AI index shows buyers actively moving their spend away from premium models.
Even the really good ones.
Yeah. Even though Anthropic's Fable 5 is incredibly capable, it's actually losing daily workload share. Businesses are realizing they just don't need a genius-level model for basic administrative tasks.
But wait, if it's so incredibly cheap to use these 3-cent models, why are we still seeing reports of companies blowing through their entire annual AI budgets in 6 months?
That is the trap. Cheap per word does not mean cheap in total.
So if I'm a small business owner listening to this, how do I avoid getting locked into these exploding bills as my agent usage scales up?
We really have to look at how AI agents actually function in practice. An agent doesn't just read a prompt once and give you an answer.
Right, because they do research and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you ask an agent to book a flight, it might loop through reading web pages, checking your calendar, evaluating pricing options, maybe 500 different times before it completes the job.
I see. So if I'm using a premium model, like, say, GBT 5.6 Solma, which is what, about 1.86 per million tokens?
Yep, around $1.86.
That loop is racking up a massive bill for what is essentially a really simple administrative task.
Right. It could cost you $10 just to book the flight.
That's wild.
But if you route that exact same task to a 3-cent model, that massive loop suddenly costs a fraction of a penny. This is a strategy the industry calls token maxing or model routing.
Oh, okay.
You stop relying on the really expensive frontier models for high-volume, everyday workflows.
So you use the math tutors for math, not the whole stadium. Or, going back to my earlier example, you use the desk lamp, not the street floodlights.
That is perfectly put. You reserve the $1.86 models exclusively for complex reasoning and the absolute hardest problems.
And everything else?
Everything else gets routed to the 3-cent models or off-peak pricing tiers.
Got it. So the ultimate takeaway for your business is really this. Stop chasing the absolute smartest model for every single task. You have to match the model's price tier to the specific job you need done.
Yeah, token maxing isn't just some crypto buzzword. It's genuinely just smart budgeting.
Exactly. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think there's a bigger picture here.
There is. If raw intelligence is practically free now, your competitive advantage is no longer having access to the smartest AI.
Because everyone has that. It's a commodity now.
Right. Your true advantage is having the best automated workflows. So the question is, what will you build now that executing a million routine tasks cost mere pennies? The practical move is straightforward. Test the cheaper model on a real workflow. Keep a premium model for the hard calls and measure the cost of the outcome instead of staring at the token rate. If you got something out of this, drop a like, comment with the workflow you would route first, and subscribe. New episode tomorrow. See you then.